Dr. Amanda Reynolds had been staring at her quantum interference patterns for so long that she initially thought the strange readings were just her tired eyes playing tricks. But as she blinked away her fourth cup of coffee and adjusted her thick-rimmed glasses, the anomaly became unmistakable. The gravitational distortions appearing at the edge of the solar system weren't random. They were moving with impossible precision. "Hey, Mike," she called out to her research assistant, who was dozing in front of his own monitor. "Come look at this pattern." Before Mike could drag himself across the lab, every screen in the facility began flashing red. Proximity alerts from NASA, ESA, and even private space companies flooded their notification systems. Something big was coming, and it was moving faster than anything humanity had ever encountered. Within hours, the skies above every major city on Earth were darkened by massive ships that defied physics itself. They moved in perfect geometric formations, their hulls gleaming with an otherworldly metal that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. The Exarthal Empire had arrived, and Earth's first contact with alien life came not with a message of peace, but with an overwhelming display of military might. While the world descended into panic, markets crashing, governments scrambling, and military forces mobilizing, Amanda noticed something that everyone else had missed. She rewound her sensor data from the past 6 hours, tracking the aliens' arrival pattern. "It's too perfect," she muttered, fingers flying across her keyboard. "Nothing moves like that. Not even machines should be able to." Her voice trailed off as realization struck. Grabbing her phone, she pulled up a contact she hadn't called in years. Monster Energy Hack Club. Class of 15. A group chat from her wilder college days, when she'd split her time between quantum physics and hanging out with the campus's most notorious hackers. "Please tell me you're all seeing this," she typed rapidly. "The formations aren't just precise. They're quantum locked. These ships aren't just communicating. They're entangled." Responses flooded in immediately. "Holy shit, Mandy's alive. Are you watching the same alien invasion we are? What do you mean entangled?" Amanda's fingers trembled as she explained. "Their entire fleet moves as one perfect unit because it is one unit. At a quantum level. They're using quantum entanglement for instant communication and coordination. It's incredibly advanced. But what?" came the rapid responses. "But it's also incredibly rigid. Nature doesn't work in perfect patterns. Everything has quantum fluctuations, chaos, randomness. These aliens have eliminated that completely. They've removed every trace of uncertainty from their systems." As she typed, Amanda watched the alien ships settling into orbit, their movements synchronized down to the subatomic level. Beautiful, terrifying, and absolutely perfect. Too perfect. "Guys," she wrote, "I think I know their weakness. They've become so advanced that they've forgotten how to handle imperfection. Their quantum systems are probably so refined they can't even process regular binary code anymore. It would be like trying to run Windows 95 on a quantum computer. Their systems wouldn't know what to do with it." The chat exploded with ideas, theories, and increasingly wild suggestions. Amanda smiled for the first time since the ships appeared. While the rest of the world saw an unbeatable enemy, she saw something else. An empire so focused on advancement that they'd created a massive blind spot. Her phone buzzed with an incoming call from a blocked number. When she answered, a gruff voice spoke without introduction. "Dr. Reynolds. This is Jack Thompson, U.S. Cyber Command. We've been monitoring your chat group. How would you like to help save the world?" Amanda looked up at the alien ships through her laboratory window, their perfect formations now seeming less threatening and more like a challenge to be solved. "Actually," she replied, "I think I'm going to need my old hacking friends for this one too. And maybe a few game developers. Trust me, we're going to show these aliens that humanity's greatest strength is our ability to embrace chaos." The message came exactly 24 hours after the ships appeared. Every screen on Earth, from Times Square billboards to smartwatches, flickered to life simultaneously. Supreme Commander Krithax of the Ktarthal Empire appeared, his crystalline exoskeleton gleaming and multiple eyes pulsing with bioluminescent light. People of Earth, the alien's words translated in real time across all languages. Your primitive civilization now faces its final choice. Submit to the enlightened rule of the Ktarthal Empire or face immediate extinction. You have 6 Earth rotations to provide your unified answer. Jack Thompson watched the message replay for the 13th time in the underground facility, hastily assembled beneath the Rocky Mountains. 20 years in Marine Cyber Command hadn't prepared him for this, but it had taught him to look for patterns in enemy communications. "Play it again," he ordered, his scared fingers drumming against the console. "But this time, show me the transmission signature." Dr. Reynolds, looking considerably more disheveled than when they'd first met 24 hours ago, pulled up the data. "There's something weird about it, isn't it? The way it's being broadcast." "Weird doesn't begin to cover it," Jack muttered. "Every transmission, and I mean every single one, is coming through the exact same quantum frequency. No redundancy, no backup systems. It's like they're so confident in their tech that they never considered they might need a plan B." The door burst open as Katie Code Witch Martine strutted in, her purple hair a stark contrast to the military personnel around her. "You're going to love this," she announced, tossing a tablet onto the central table. "Our friend Krithax doesn't just use the same frequency for all communications. Their entire military infrastructure runs on it. Ships, weapons, life support, everything." "That's impossible," one of the military analysts protested. "No advanced civilization would put all their eggs in one basket." "Unless," Amanda interjected, her eyes lighting up, "they've never failed before. Think about it. They've conquered countless worlds, all more advanced than Earth. Their quantum network is theoretically unhackable by any conventional means. Why would they need redundancy?" Jack's terminal suddenly lit up with an incoming transmission. "We're getting something new. It's not from the Ktarthal fleet." His fingers flew across the keyboard. "It's coming from deep space, bouncing off our old Voyager probe's signal array." The message was garbled, but clear enough. "Resistance exists. Other worlds. Quantum network can be. Primitive systems hold the key." "Holy shit," Katie breathed. "We're not the first to figure this out. But we might be the first with the right tools to do something about it." Amanda added, pulling up her quantum interference data. "Look at this. Every time they broadcast, there's a microsecond where their entire network synchronizes. 1 point of perfect quantum entanglement." Jack straightened up, his military training kicking in. Perfect means vulnerable. Nature abhors perfection. That's why our military systems are designed with controlled chaos, multiple redundancies, even intentional inefficiencies. "And that's exactly why Earth might be their worst nightmare," Katie grinned, already pulling up her coding interface. "We're messy, redundant, and we keep everything. I bet half the world's nuclear launch systems still run on floppy disks." A deep rumble shook the facility as more Ktarthal ships entered the atmosphere, taking up position above major cities. Their ultimatum loomed, but in this underground room, humanity's resistance was taking shape. 6 days, Jack announced, looking at each person in the room. 6 days to figure out how to inject the most primitive code we can write into the most advanced network in the galaxy. Amanda smiled, already reaching for her phone to call more of her old hacking group. "Oh, we'll do better than that. We're going to show them why keeping your old tech around isn't primitive. It's tactical." "Katie, how do you feel about writing some code that would make your first computer science professor cry?" "Honey," Katie cracked her knuckles dramatically, "I'm going to write code so bad it would make BASIC look like quantum computing. And these perfect aliens won't even see it coming." As the team got to work, more encrypted messages from other conquered worlds began filtering in through Earth's aging deep space network. The Ktarthal Empire was about to learn a harsh lesson. Sometimes the deadliest weapon isn't the most advanced one. It's the one you're too evolved to see coming. Dylan Cooper was having the weirdest week of his 16-year life. 5 days ago, he'd been trying to convince his mom that dropping out of high school to become a professional gamer wasn't a terrible idea. Now he sat in a military bunker, surrounded by computer screens, explaining Minecraft redstone mechanics to a decorated Marine and a quantum physicist. See, it's all about creating complexity from simple binary logic, Dylan said, his fingers flying across the keyboard. Redstone circuits can do calculus if you build them right. It's like creating a computer inside a computer game. Kid's got a point, Katie interjected from her workstation, where lines of ancient COBOLA code scrolled past. The simplest systems can create the most chaos when properly engineered, and chaos is exactly what we need. Dr. Reynolds studied Dylan's demonstration with intense focus. That XR-full quantum networks process information in all states simultaneously. They'd never expect an attack using simple binary logic gates. It would be like trying to stop a tank with a slingshot. Except, Jack Thompson smiled, his battle-scarred face lighting up. Sometimes a well-placed stone is all you need, if you hit the right spot. Dylan, how fast can you build a virus using these game mechanics principles? Before Dylan could answer, the bunker's lights flickered. Above ground, another XR-full ship was landing, its quantum field interfering with Earth's power grid. The team had watched through surveillance feeds as the aliens established peacekeeping bases across the globe, their crystalline troops moving with the same unsettling precision as their ships. 3 days left, Amanda muttered, checking the countdown clock they'd installed. And we still haven't figured out how to package the virus so their quantum scanners won't detect it. Katie spun in her chair, purple hair whirling. What if we don't hide it? What if we make it look like something so primitive they won't even recognize it as a threat? She pulled up an ancient MS-DOS game on her screen. Dylan, come look at this. Ever seen Space Invaders? The teenager's eyes widened as he studied the simple pixel graphics. This is perfect. The whole game is just basic binary. We could hide our virus in plain sight, package it as a cultural exchange thing. Their quantum systems would see it as just noise. Hold that thought, Jack interrupted, his expression grim as he studied an incoming transmission. We've got movement. The XR-full are deploying some kind of scanning devices in major cities. They're mapping our digital infrastructure. Amanda rushed to her quantum interference monitors. They're trying to understand why we're so disorganized. Their synchronized minds can't comprehend our chaotic networks. She paused, a slow smile spreading across her face. They're actually cataloging our old technology, trying to figure out its purpose. Then let's give them something to catalog. Katie grinned, already coding. Dylan, help me build this thing. We're going to make the most innocent-looking, primitive piece of software these aliens have ever seen. And we're going to pack it full of the nastiest old-school viruses we can write. The next 18 hours passed in a blur of coffee, code, and creative cursing. Dylan's gaming expertise proved invaluable as they constructed their digital Trojan horse. Katie's hacking skills transformed simple game mechanics into viral payload delivery systems. Amanda provided quantum camouflage by introducing subtle imperfections that would appear as normal interference to XR-full scanners. Jack coordinated with resistance cells worldwide, using old radio frequencies and printed codebooks to avoid quantum detection. Reports came in of other human hackers finding similar vulnerabilities, all feeding their discoveries back to the bunker through a crazy patchwork of ancient tech, fax machines, dial-up modems, even modified ham radios. As dawn broke on the 4th day, Dylan sat back from his keyboard, exhausted but proud. On his screen, a perfectly reconstructed version of Space Invaders flickered to life. But these invaders carried a very special payload. It's beautiful, Katie whispered, watching the simple pixels move across the screen. It's like fighting the future with the past. No, Amanda corrected, placing a hand on Dylan's shoulder. It's fighting perfection with humanity. And humanity has never lost that battle yet. The team gathered around the display, watching their creation run through its cycles. In less than 72 hours, they would attempt to bring down an interstellar empire with what appeared to be nothing more than a primitive computer game. And somewhere in the quantum noise, their virus waited, ready to show the galaxy's most advanced civilization the power of simplicity. "We've got a problem," Jack announced, bursting into the bunker's makeshift break room where Dylan had finally fallen asleep on a cot. "The XR are moving up their timeline. They want humanity's answer in 12 hours, not 2 days. Amanda spilled her coffee, the dark liquid creating a spreading stain on her already coffee-mapped shirt. "What? Why?" "Their quantum scans of our infrastructure are making them nervous," Jack explained, pulling up surveillance footage on the main screen. "They've never seen a civilization this unpredictable. They think we're hiding something." Katie emerged from her coding station, eyes red from staring at screens for 20 straight hours. "Well, they're not wrong." "Dylan, wake up, Wonder Kid. We need to finish this now." The teenager jolted awake, nearly falling off his cot. I'm up. How's the game wrapper holding?" "That's actually the good news," Amanda said, pulling up their diagnostic screens. "I've been running quantum analysis on our package. The Space Invaders camouflage is working perfectly. Their scanner should read it as exactly what it appears to be, a primitive entertainment algorithm." The team gathered around their central workstation, where their digital weapon took shape. On the surface, it looked like nothing more than a perfectly preserved piece of gaming history. But buried within its simple code lay something far more dangerous. "Walk me through it one more time," Jack requested, studying the scrolling lines of code. "I need to be able to explain this to the Joint Chiefs in 10 minutes. Dylan straightened up, suddenly looking more professional than any 16-year-old had a right to. "Okay, so you know how modern games use something called rubber banding to keep things fair. Like when you're losing, the game secretly helps you catch up." "Right," Katie picked up the thread. "We've basically created the ultimate rubber band effect. The code looks for the most advanced system it can find and then does the opposite of whatever that system expects. It's like trying to punch a ghost. The harder you swing, the more you throw yourself off balance." Amanda nodded excitedly. "And because their quantum systems process all possibilities simultaneously, they'll actually amplify our virus themselves. They'll be caught in an endless loop of trying to correct for irregularities that aren't really there." "And the best part?" Dylan grinned, pulling up his original gaming interface. "We hid the whole thing inside the pause menu. The moment someone tries to stop the game, that's when everything goes crazy." A warning klaxon cut through their explanation. Above ground, more XR-full ships were moving into position. Their crystalline troops began advancing on major government buildings worldwide. "We're out of time," Jack declared, already reaching for his secure phone. "Katie, how fast can you distribute this through their network?" "Fast isn't the problem," she replied, fingers flying across her keyboard. "Getting them to accept it is. We need them to think they're the ones taking it from us." Amanda's eyes lit up. "The cultural exchange. They've been demanding access to our entertainment archives as part of their peaceful integration program. We can." She was cut off by another alarm, this one accompanied by a message flashing across all their screens. "Final lodio arningshi from the HEXAR Empire. Submumite or ESPONSE in 10 Earth HOURs, or FAC immediate planetary sterilization." Dylan stared at the message, then at his game interface, then back at the team. "You know what? Let's give them exactly what they want. Let's submit our response as a game." Katie's manic grin returned. "Oh, that's perfect. Dear advanced alien overlords, please accept this humble offering of our primitive entertainment technology as a gesture of submission." "And then we wait," Amanda added, already calculating quantum interference patterns. the moment they try to analyze it. "They'll do our work for us," Jack finished, reaching for his tactical comm. "I need to tell the Joint Chiefs to get ready. When this kicks off, things are going to get weird fast." As the team made their final preparations, Dylan pulled up the game one last time. The simple pixels of Space Invaders marched across his screen, each one carrying a piece of code that was about to teach the galaxy's most advanced civilization a lesson about underestimating primitive technology. "Game on," he whispered, and hit compile. The Qatarful Cultural Assessment Chamber aboard their flagship was everything humanity's team had hoped for, a perfect quantum computing environment. Supreme Commander Kirthax himself presided over the examination of Earth's submission offering, his crystalline form refracting light as he moved. Through hijacked surveillance feeds, the bunker team watched their plan unfold. "Look at how they're scanning it," Amanda whispered, though the aliens couldn't possibly hear them. "Their quantum processors are trying to analyze every possible state of the program simultaneously." "Doing exactly what we wanted," Katie grinned, monitoring the data streams. "They're so focused on looking for advanced threats, they're completely missing the simple one right in front of them." The Space Invaders game floated in the Qatarful's holographic display, its primitive pixels a sharp contrast to their advanced technology. Kirthax's multiple eyes pulsed with different colors as he studied it. "This entertainment protocol appears to simulate conflict," his translated voice came through their feeds. "How appropriate that their submission includes a game about inevitable defeat by superior forces." Dylan couldn't help but snicker. "Should we tell him that in Space Invaders, the humans win?" "Quiet," Jack ordered, but there was a smile in his voice. "They're launching the program analysis now." On their monitors, they watched as the Qatarful quantum systems began their comprehensive scan of the game. The aliens' arrogance worked in humanity's favor. They weren't just examining the code. They were running it through their entire network for cultural assessment. "Initial penetration confirmed," Katie reported, her fingers dancing across her keyboard. "They're doing exactly what we predicted, trying to quantum compute every possible game state at once." Amanda's quantum interference patterns began showing dramatic spikes. "The virus is replicating through their quantum entanglement network. Every time their system tries to resolve the game state, it creates 10 more variations of our code." "Wait for it," Dylan murmured, watching his creation do its work. "Wait for it." On screen, a Qatarful technician made the fatal mistake. He tried to pause the game for deeper analysis. Instantly, the virus hidden in the pause menu activated, spreading through their quantum network like wildfire. The effect was both spectacular and absurd. The Qatarful's perfect holographic displays began showing cascading waves of Space Invaders aliens. Their translation systems started converting everything into gaming terms. Warning klaxons played the game's iconic soundtrack. "Holy shit," Jack breathed, watching the chaos unfold. "It's actually working." Through their surveillance feeds, they watched Kirthax's crystalline form pulse with alarm as his command interfaces filled with pixelated chaos. "What is happening? Purge the entertainment protocol immediately." "That's not going to work," Katie sang out, watching her code do its thing. "Every time they try to delete it, the quantum network creates perfect copies. They're literally spreading it themselves." The bunker team watched in amazement as the virus spread from ship to ship, carried by the Qatarful's own quantum entanglement network. Perfect synchronization became their perfect downfall. "Multiple ships reporting critical system failures," Jack reported, reading from his tactical display. "Their weapons are offline, navigation is compromised, and are those ships actually playing Pong with each other?" Dylan pumped his fist. "The game-spawning subroutine works. Their quantum processors are so powerful, they're accidentally creating new games from the original code." Amanda's quantum readings were off the charts. The virus isn't just spreading through their fleet. It's reaching their entire empire through their quantum network. Every Qatarful system in the galaxy is being infected simultaneously. On their main screen, They watched as Supreme Commander Krithax's flagship began broadcasting a very different message than intended. Instead of demanding Earth's surrender, all frequencies played an endless loop of game over, intensity coin, to continue in every language in the galaxy. Should we call them? Katie suggested, barely containing her laughter. Offer some tech support, maybe. Jack's scared face broke into a rare full smile. Oh, I think we should. After all, it would be rude not to help them with their cultural integration. As alarms blared and chaos spread through the galaxy's most advanced civilization, Dylan looked at his simple game screen with pride. Sometimes the best moves in a game are the ones so obvious that nobody sees them coming. The mighty Xarthal Empire was about to learn that lesson the hard way. Supreme Commander Krithax's perfect day of conquest had descended into digital madness. His flagship's quantum bridge, once a marvel of synchronized efficiency, now looked like a teenager's arcade fever dream. Every holographic display showed different classic Earth games, from Tetris to Pac-Man, each one spreading through their systems like a virus. "Sir," his second-in-command reported, crystalline form flickering with distress, "the planetary invasion fleet is. Speak, Commander Volthar." They're playing something called Snake with their flight patterns. In the underground bunker, Earth's unlikely team watched the chaos unfold with a mixture of awe and amusement. Katie had rigged their main screen to show multiple camera feeds from around the world, each one displaying a different aspect of the Xarthal's technological meltdown. "Look at Sydney," Dylan pointed excitedly. "Their peacekeeping mechs are having a dance revolution competition." "Tokyo's better," Katie countered, pulling up another feed. "Their quantum cannons are shooting Mario fireballs into the sky." Jack maintained his professional demeanor, but even he couldn't hide his smile as he read from his tactical display. "We're getting reports from every major military installation. The Xarthal ground forces are completely compromised. Most of them are either frozen in loading screens or stuck in endless game tutorials." Amanda studied her quantum readings with growing excitement. The virus isn't just affecting their military systems. Their entire quantum network is being overwhelmed by paradoxes. Every time they try to process multiple quantum states simultaneously, they're actually creating new variations of our games. An emergency transmission cut through their celebration. Krithax's face appeared on their screen, his crystalline features distorted by pixelated glitches. What have you done?" The Supreme Commander's voice alternated between his usual imperial tone and classic video game sound effects. "Our perfect systems. Our quantum supremacy. Having some technical difficulties." Katie asked innocently, "Have you tried turning it off and on again?" "You primitive. Jamie over. Cannot possibly. Insert Cohen. Understand the consequences. High SCRAHEGV." Dylan stepped forward, unable to contain himself. "Actually, we understood perfectly. You guys got so caught up in quantum computing that you forgot the beauty of simple binary. You can't be our virus because you literally can't think that simply anymore." Krithax's multiple eyes pulsed with rage, though the effect was somewhat undermined by the Pac-Man Waka Waka sounds accompanying his movements. "You expect the mightiest empire in the galaxy to be defeated by children's entertainment." "Defeated," Amanda interjected, pulling up her quantum displays. "Oh no, Supreme Commander, we're not defeating you. We're teaching you how to play." On screens across the globe, Xarthal ships began moving in increasingly erratic patterns as their quantum navigation systems interpreted game code as flight instructions. Some performed perfect Space Invader attack formations. Others executed maneuvers straight out of asteroids. "Sir," Volthar's panicked voice came through their feed. "The quantum entanglement is spreading the infection faster than light speed. Every Xarthal system in the galaxy is player 2 is ENT or EDD game." Jack finally let out a full laugh. "You know what your empire's problem is, Krithax. You got so focused on perfection that you forgot how to handle chaos. Humanity, we thrive on chaos. The Supreme Commander's transmission became increasingly corrupted by classic game overlays. His threats of retaliation were interrupted by HFY announcements. His demands for surrender were replaced by continue. 10, 9, 8. Face it, Katie declared, watching their virus work its magic. You've been playing the wrong game. While you were trying to win through perfect order, we changed the rules completely. Through their surveillance feeds, they watched as the mighty XR fleet, pride of the galaxy's greatest empire, descended into digital anarchy. Ships performed ballet-like maneuvers to Tetris music. Ground forces marched in patterns reminiscent of Frogger. And through it all, their quantum network continued to spawn new variations of humanity's oldest computer games. Should we tell them about the hidden bonus level? Dylan asked innocently. Amanda grinned. Oh, I think they'll discover that on their own. Right about now. As if on cue, every XR full system simultaneously started playing Pong, using their actual ships as paddles. The game-infected quantum network had an unexpected side effect that not even Dylan could have predicted. As corrupted quantum signals spread across the galaxy at superluminal speeds, they began reaching planets the XR full had conquered centuries ago. The virus wasn't just a weapon anymore. It had become a galactic liberation signal. Sir, Jack announced, looking up from his tactical console, we're getting transmissions from at least 30 different alien civilizations. They're all reporting the same thing. The XR full control systems are failing everywhere. Amanda's quantum monitors were lighting up like Christmas trees. The virus isn't just spreading through their military network anymore. It's infecting their entire social structure. Their quantum-based hierarchy it's evolving. On their main screen, they watched as Supreme Commander Krathax's flagship executed a perfect barrel roll, trailing pixelated stars like something out of Star Fox. His transmission cut in, his once imperious voice now punctuated by random power-up sounds. You cannot. Levial UP. Comprehend what you've done. Our perfect society. CHECK.REHH. Our quantum harmony. Oh, we comprehend perfectly, Katie interrupted, her fingers still dancing across her keyboard as she monitored the virus's spread. You built your entire civilization on the idea that quantum computing made you superior. But you forgot something crucial. Sometimes the simplest solution is the best one. Dylan nodded enthusiastically. Like in games, sometimes you don't need the fanciest graphics or the most complex mechanics. Sometimes you just need to know when to press jump. Through their surveillance feeds, they watched as the XR full fleet above Earth began moving in increasingly chaotic patterns. Ships that once moved in perfect quantum-locked formation now seemed to be playing an enormous game of cosmic pinball. The other civilizations, Jack reported, reading from a flood of incoming messages, they're not just breaking free. They're starting to play along. Look at this. The team gathered around his screen, watching in amazement as freed alien worlds began using the XR full's own quantum network to challenge each other to high-score competitions. Species that had been oppressed for centuries were turning their oppressors' perfect system into the galaxy's biggest arcade. You have a choice, Krathax, Amanda declared, addressing the increasingly glitchy Supreme Commander. We've distributed the virus's source code to every world in your empire. You can either adapt to a little chaos in your life, or watch your entire civilization become permanently enslaved to Earth's primitive entertainment. Krathax's crystalline form pulsed with conflicting colors as game achievements randomly popped up around his image. You would dare, bone you as ruined, dictate terms to the Xarful Empire. Dictate? Nah, Katie grinned. We're inviting you to play. Look around you. Every species you've conquered is already joining in. Your perfect quantum network is turning into the galaxy's first massive multiplayer game. As if to prove her point, a scoreboard materialized on their main screen, showing different alien civilizations racking up points by using captured XR ships to recreate classic arcade games on a cosmic scale. The Andromedans are absolutely crushing it at Galaga, Dylan observed with professional admiration. Jack's tactical console lit up with new alerts. Multiple XR command ships are requesting game tutorials. They're actually asking to learn how to play. A younger XR officer appeared beside Krithax, their crystalline form flickering with what looked suspiciously like excitement. Supreme Commander, perhaps we should. Press STRT to BGN. Consider their offer. The quantum harmonics of these simple binary patterns are fascinating. They watched as Krithax's rigid posture finally slumped in defeat, or perhaps acceptance. How do you humans maintain order through such chaos? Amanda smiled. That's the beautiful part, Krithax. We don't. We embrace the chaos. We learn from it. We play with it. And sometimes, just sometimes, we find something amazing in the randomness. As if to emphasize her point, their monitors showed sorrowful ships across the galaxy beginning to move in new patterns, still precise, but now with an element of play, of creativity, of freedom. The mighty empire that had conquered through perfection was learning, at last, the power of imperfection. And somewhere in the quantum noise, the games played on. 3 months after Operation Retrograde, the XR flagship hung in Earth's orbit not as a threat, but as the host of the first intergalactic gaming championship. Dylan Cooper stood at a podium made of shifting crystalline material, addressing a crowd that included humans, Carful, and representatives from 24 formerly conquered species. And that's why we decided to call it Quantum Chaos, he concluded, presenting the galaxy's first hybrid quantum binary game. It combines the processing power of quantum computing with the unpredictable joy of classical gaming. In the audience, Katie Code Witch Martins beamed like a proud sister. Her company, Retrograde Security Solutions, had become the galaxy's premier quantum binary cybersecurity firm. Turned out there was a huge market for experts who understood both ancient code and quantum computing. The kids come a long way, Jack Thompson murmured to Amanda Reynolds as they watched from the back of the chamber. Hard to believe 3 months ago he was trying to drop out of high school. Now he's teaching quantum physics to aliens through game design, Amanda replied, checking her latest readings on her tablet. The quantum interference patterns had changed dramatically since the invasion. Where once there was rigid perfection, now there was organized chaos, a perfect blend of order and randomness. Supreme Commander Krithax, who had officially changed his title to Game Master Prime, approached their group. His crystalline form now pulsed with a rainbow of colors, a far cry from the rigid patterns of before. Dr. Reynolds, he greeted, his translator now mercifully free of random game sounds. The quantum harmonics of your latest paper on chaos theory integration are most entertaining. Still getting used to hearing Xarthal use that word, aren't you? Katie grinned, joining them. Entertainment was a foreign concept to them 3 months ago. Now look. They all turned to watch as a group of young Xarthal engaged in what they called quantum parkour, using their natural crystalline abilities in conjunction with Earth-style game mechanics to create impossible light patterns in the air. Your species taught us something profound, Krithax admitted, his multiple eyes tracking the display. Perfect order, while efficient, lacks the spark of innovation. It was our greatest weakness, and we never knew it. And now? Jack asked, though the answer was visible throughout the chamber. Now we learn to play. Krithax replied simply. Your Dylan Cooper has shown us that even quantum mathematics can be a game. Our scientists are, how do you say it, having a blast with the concepts. A commotion near the presentation stage drew their attention. Dylan had introduced a new feature in Quantum Chaos that allowed players to create their own levels using a mix of quantum and classical computing principles. The crowd of humans and aliens alike were absolutely entranced. We're getting reports from across the galaxy, Katie reported, checking her phone. Every former XR full colony is developing their own unique gaming styles. The Andromedans are particularly good at quantum rhythm games. Amanda smiled, watching the interspecies crowd mingle and play. We didn't just beat them with our primitive technology. We showed them a better way to use their advanced technology. Speaking of better ways, Jack interjected, the Joint Chiefs wanted me to mention that several XR full battle groups have requested joint training exercises. Apparently, they want to learn human-style tactical chaos. Krifax's crystalline form shimmered with what they had learned was amusement. We have found that incorporating unpredictability into our military doctrine has improved our efficiency by 47.3%. Though I must admit, the space battles are much more entertaining now. As if on cue, through the flagship's massive windows, they could see two XR-full cruisers engaging in what appeared to be a zero-gravity game of tennis, using a quantum field as the ball. Earth's contribution to galactic civilization wasn't just technological, it was teaching the most advanced species in the galaxy how to have fun. You know what the best part is? Dylan asked, joining them after his presentation. We're just getting started. Wait until they discover modding. The mighty XR-full empire hadn't been defeated, it had been upgraded. And somewhere in the quantum noise between order and chaos, humanity had found its place in the galaxy not through force or technology, but through the simple, powerful art of play. After all, sometimes the best way to win isn't to change the players, but to change the game itself.